So when you're working with ZModeler here, it's a good idea to just have your polyframe on. That's Shift F. If you don't see the actual color here, that's because the fill option is off here. Sometimes you just want to see the topology of your mesh without seeing the polygroup, so you can actually turn the fill off here. But in this case, it's actually a good idea to just keep it on because polygroups are a very important feature when using ZModeler properly here. Now, whenever you do various actions, ZModeler will automatically crease your edges right here. If you want to get rid of that, we just go into Geometry, Crease, and then Uncrease All. So when you crease your model right here, let's go into Solo just so we can see this right here. When you crease your various edges and polygons here, it actually uses the crease settings right here under the crease panel right here. So for example, I think level 15 is a little bit too high, let's go to 2. And with level 2, crease level 2 is going to crease it perfectly until we get to 2 levels, then it will smooth things out. So for example, let's say I'm working with this and I want to establish my curvature right here. I think this is a little bit too simple. I want to have more topology right here. So let's use crease. Right now it's set to 30. Let's try that. Now the creases are happening here. Let's divide. Let's turn off polyframe so we can just kind of check the integrity of the mesh here, make sure everything proper is creased. Let's say, for example, I don't want this to be creased right here. I'll just press Ctrl Z. So we can actually use ZModeler to crease various edges right here. So I'll hover over an edge, right click, choose crease, and we have edge, edge loop partial, edge loop complete, and polyloop. In this case, I'll just do a single edge right here. And so we'll also, when you hover over an edge here, you notice there's a little bit of a white text at the bottom. It says crease edge alt to uncrease. So if I hold alt and click on this, notice how the little dotted lines are disappearing, which means it's no longer being creased. And now I can use dynamic subdivision or regular subdivision right here to preview that. And notice how it's no longer being creased. So for example, I may see that there needs to be a crease right here. So I'll simply click on this edge, it's been creased, and there we go. So just to make it understandable for people who are coming from 3ds Max, so whenever I'm working here, I just press the spacebar, which will activate show end result on and off. So if I just press the spacebar, I can see what all the modifiers combine together to create. So we go from no subdivision to subdivision right here. And so there's a similar workflow here in ZBrush where I've got dynamics set to Alt-D. So if I press Alt-D, I can see what the mesh looks like subdivided, activating the dynamic subdivision. I can press Alt-D again, just turn it off here. So I can quickly go from a simplified mesh right here to subdivided, simply using Alt-D. So it's kind of a similar workflow here, just different hotkeys here. So I can use this to preview the mesh and choose which parts I want to be subdivided, creased, and which ones I want to be smooth. For example, right here, I want this to be a smooth part right here. So I'll just press Alt-D, Shift F, hold Alt, click here to uncrease, Alt click uncrease, Alt-D, there we go. So I like to also just kind of quickly press Shift F so I can turn off the polyframe so you can see just the clean mesh right here. So for example right here, Alt-D, maybe I want this to be creased right here, Alt-D, Shift F. So for example, maybe I want this to be smooth, Alt-D, Shift F, hold Alt, click, Alt-D, Shift F. Here I may want this to be smooth here. So Alt-D, Shift F, Alt-click, Alt-click, Alt-D, Shift F. There we go. And so I'm going a little bit faster. Normally I would take the time to clean things up more. There we go. At this point I can actually press X to turn symmetry back on. And we can actually use mirror and weld here. Alright. So now we can actually subdivide or use dynamic subdivision and let's say go to one level and then we can apply right here. And that will actually subdivide right here and give us level 2. What we can also do is just simply turn off dynamic subdivision and simply subdivide right here and then delete lower. And now we have a lot more topology here. We've established the curvature here, now have a lot more topology to create more details here. So let's just use some basic QMesh functions right here, and let's just experiment with some details here. So I can simply use QMesh to get these kind of details here. I can hold Alt, temporary selection, and then I can QMesh right here. So let's use some more advanced targets here. So I'll right click here. Let's, for example, use polyloop. So for example, all of this right here is a single polyloop here. So now if I click that mouse button, notice how all this will now be extruded because this is part of a single polygroup right here. Alt D, Alt D, there we go. What I can also do is combine the target with the temporary selection. So right now, polyloop is on, and if I do this, I get this right here. But let's say I want these polygons right here to also be part of that. So what I can do is hold Alt, make the selection, and now when I click right here, notice how both the temporary selection and the polyloop are being extruded here. A very handy function we have here. Or in this case, I just want to go, let's say, up to here. Alright, there we go. And now, for example, I'll right click on an edge, and I'll just use slide, edge, and I'll just kind of slide this edge here. Now I have this kind of more gradual transition right here. Alt D, Shift F, there we go. Now notice we have edge creasing right here, but not here yet, so we can just quickly set this up. So I'll right click on an edge, let's crease, let's use edge loop complete. We can click on this edge here, and now we have a crease going all the way across this loop, also right here. Alt D, there we go. In this case we don't want this to be, because now you notice when I clicked on this edge right here, it's gone all the way around the topology here, looped all the way around here, and it's even gone all the way over here, and now we have creases right here. So in this case, let's be a little bit more careful. Let's try hovering over an edge, and let's do edge loop partial here. And we can click on this edge right here. There we go, now it only goes up to here. Doesn't go all the way around here. Alt D, Alt D. We can click on these edges as well. Alt D, and this edge here as well. And then this edge right here. There we go. Now we have edge creasing happening right here. Now you notice I accidentally kind of clicked on this polygon right here, and this all started happening here. So one thing about working with ZModeler here is that if you accidentally click here, and you got, for example, a polyloop here, you get all sorts of interesting and crazy results here very quickly without even knowing what you're doing here. So notice how just by clicking a few times, I kind of got this result right here. Now sometimes this can be a good thing. This can result in happy accidents. For example, I think I like this, let's say this extrusion right here, but a lot of times you don't want this to happen. So I'll just press Ctrl Z, and let's say I actually click right here. Let's say I actually want this right here. There we go. Or in this case, I'll just hold Alt right here, a single poly, and simply click right here. So remember that ZModeler remembers my last extrusion depth right here, so that's why it automatically matches up to this right here. But now what we can do to disable all this right here is we can right click on a point right here, vertex, and do nothing. We can also right click on an edge and do nothing. So what this means is that the only function that's going to happen around that, only action, will be the polygon actions, because the vertices are disabled here. So if I click on the vertex right here, notice how only the polygons are being affected. If I click on an edge right here, notice only the polygons are having an action occurring to them. So this can be a good tool to just focus on the polygons, for example, just to avoid the vertices, avoid the edges, and just work on polygons right here. So you may wonder why there is a do nothing option right here, and that's specifically so you can eliminate accidentally clicking and using various other vertices, edges, or polygons. We can also do the opposite. We can right click on a polygon, do nothing, right click on an edge, do nothing, and we can just have the vertices split, for example. So I can simply and quickly create holes here by clicking left mouse button. Let's see right here, and simply click, 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 and we can quickly get holes like that. And now what I can do is right click on the polygon, switch to Q mesh. So notice how when I used the split function for the vertices here to get these holes here, notice how they're all the same polygroup right here. So now what I can do is with the Q mesh action, I can use, instead of a single poly, I can use, let's say, polygroup all. And so now the polygroup that I click on, all the polys that apply to this polygroup will be affected. So notice how this polygroup right here is a light pale green, and all of the holes here, the circles, are this light yellow. And if I click on this now, this entire polygroup will be affected, and now we have these holes right here. Now when you perform various actions such as Q mesh, so here I will make a quick temporary selection. I will left click here and I will hold down the left mouse button. Now with the left mouse button still held down, I will press Alt, and notice how it just keeps on switching polygroups. This is a handy function if you want to switch the polygroups every time. So for example, in the case of the vertices with split, if I simply click here, they are now all purple. But let's say for example I want the newest one to not be purple. So what I will do is I'll left click, and before letting go of left click I will press Alt to change the polygroup right here. So it's a good idea to use a distinctive polygroup here, and that way you can avoid kind of having polygroups that are too close in color. So for example, if I have this color here, it's technically a different polygroup here, because now if I use Q mesh, let's say on polygroup all, if I do this right here, notice how these polygroups are affected, these circles, but not this one. So in this case, this polygroup here is a different polygroup here, but it's so close together to this one here, the color, that it can be very easy to mistake them. If I switch the material to be, for example, flat color, and let's say turn off the lines, you can just barely tell that this is a different shade of blue than this one, but it's a little bit difficult to tell. So that's why it's a good idea to sometimes choose a different polygroup and just simply press Alt before you let go of the left mouse button. And then when I'm using Q mesh with polygroup all, I can, for example, affect only these, and this can be a positive extrusion like this. So that was some of the basics of using ZModeler here to work with the polygroups here. There's a lot more to learn, and we'll continue that in the next video. Thank you for watching, and take care.